Hey guys, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. My name is Shaymat, and today I wanted to hop on here real quick just to share with you guys a reflection I had about tawakkul. Okay, and I find that the best way to learn is from a child, actually. And the reason I say that is because if you look at a child's relationship with the mom, usually the primary caretaker is the mother. Okay, now not to say there's not an exception to the rule, but for example's sake, let's just say that the primary caretaker is the mother. Okay, that child has basically from the womb, right? From the heartbeat, that's what they say, skin to skin, right? The child can recognize the mother's heartbeat. It heard it for 9 months, right? So that child is, all it knows is his mother from the moment baby's born. And that mother is the source of comfort, the source of food, the source of love, source of mercy, happiness, security, safety, everything, right? And as the child grows, it's so interesting. You'll see that even when you go to visit people or you go to anything, that child, like, no matter if somebody wants to pick up that child, it's like, no, where's my mom, right? It's like not even trust. It's like climb on top of you, like, and not let go, like. And doesn't matter if anybody else wants to provide love, happiness, care, food, provision. It is not from their mom. It's not the same, right? And it's like that's the primary source, and even like if a child wants to be lifted, right, and you do like a half lift, it's like, no, I want to be completely lifted by you. I don't want to be like, I don't want even my foot to touch the ground. That's how much the child wants to be on the parent, on that mom. And subhanAllah, like, it got me to think, I'm like, that's what tawakkul is. That's exactly what tawakkul is. Only that's how we're supposed to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's interesting because that's the natural predisposition of the child, right? When the child is upset, they look at the mom. Their expectation, even though they're angry, they're throwing a tantrum, even if they made a mistake, they still look at the mom. They still look at that primary caretaker for comfort. It's that expectation, right? That's what they expect. And it's like the expectation of you is that goodness, even though they've messed up. And some kids know they messed up. They'll even look at you while they see you looking at them, and they'll still like mess up. They'll do the mistake. They'll throw that thing you said already 20,000 times before. Don't throw it, and they're gonna throw it. And even despite that, they'll still come to you for comfort. Like, wow, like, it's incredible. And I'm like, just thinking to myself, like, that's how we're supposed to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That should be the expectation we have of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because if that's how a child can perceive a parent, a mother, then how about Allah, who's not fallible, right? Who's perfect in every of his divine characteristics, right? So I just wanted to just share that insight with you guys, and I thought it was really beautiful that our natural predisposition is that it's even in psychology, even therapists, they'll say that when that child is upset, right, their their prefrontal cortex or something isn't quite developed yet, right? That basically making the common sense, making those, basically they're saying that when that child's throwing a tantrum and they're upset, you need to be the calm, cool, and collected, right? That what they need the most is knowing that even though they've messed up and you're upset and they can see that, they need to also know that you're not going to withhold your love, your mercy, your compassion, your forgiveness, right? They need to feel secure, that they don't lose what is so important to them, which is all those qualities, right? And I'm like, subhanallah al-azim, that is so true. If we were to reflect on our relationship with God, that when we mess up, we're made to forget that there's only the wrath of God, not knowing that there is also love, mercy, compassion, and forgiveness, right? Even 3 different types of forgiveness, right? There's al-afu, al-ghafur, and al-ghafar, like 3, and love, al-wadu, the most loving, like the highest form of love ever. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the most merciful, the most continuing in mercy. You know, like we forget that, you know, those characteristics and qualities, we focus only on the wrath and the anger. And subhanAllah, like I'm like, and if this is just with humans, it's impossible for us. I'll tell you right now, like it is impossible to, you have to like constantly remind yourself to be that, you know, it's hard. And you know, the other thing I was reflecting on is being a parent, that child needs all those things all the time. And it's hard to just give it all the time. It's hard to give love and compassion and mercy and understanding and forgiveness all the time, 24/7, nonstop, no matter what craziness happens. Like you is gonna get tested hard. It is hard, you know, like it's, and as much as you love your child and you want to give all, that's why they say you need to have self-care. Like why? Because you're a human. You know what I mean? You got to answer nature's call. You get tired, you get sleepy, you get cranky, you get, you know, PMS symptoms, whatever the case is, right? And it's hard just on a parent, like to do that, to give that source constantly. And that's something that a child constantly depends on. And that child is also you, because you also need that love, compassion, mercy, and everything, right? So like even you are dependent as much as that child for that. And that's why it can only ever come from a source greater than ourselves. It can only come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so it just got me to think like, wow, like, you know, they say like no one loves a child more than a mother, right? No one loves your kid more than you love your kid. But I beg to differ, because I'm like, the only being that loves your kid more than you is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know? As a matter of fact, the measurement is a mother's love, quantified by 70, you know? So subhanAllah, like Allah loves you 70 times more than your mother would. And it's comforting to know that even as a parent, because it's like, you know your limitations and your capacity. And as much as you want to give the best, you can't always provide it without taking a break. It's like a car that just runs and runs and runs. The fuel runs empty. Like you need to pause, refuel, and then keep going. If you don't get that refuel, you're just not going to be able to go, and you're just going to crash. So subhanAllah, I just feel like it was a powerful lesson, you know, that you could see that illustration of what tawakkul actually looks like, a physical manifestation of what tawakkul looks like. And there's a difference between tawakkul and trust. Like trust is like, you know, you can have tawakkul when you're on the street driving your car, you know, and just tawakkul, just complete reliance and trust and dependability that everybody's gonna do the right thing and follow the speed limit and not drive no like crazy. No, you're not. You can't have that. You can have a level of trust for sure, but that means you still have to take your preventative measures, your cautions, and all these things to the best of your ability. And you're just going to trust, you know, with caution, obviously, that other people are going to do the same thing, but you can never 100% rely that people are going to do that. You can never 100% rely on anybody except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so I think it's beautiful that a parent can't be the source of tawakkul for the child, because the child will start to learn, like, how come, you know, mommy or daddy gives us this love or whatever, and now, like, you know, they're struggling with it. Sometimes they're not able to give it all the time. Why is that? And then as they grow and learn, they'll understand that mommy and daddy also need that, right? That it can only come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why it can't be perfect. The parent can't have perfect love, perfect mercy, perfect, you know, infinitely perfect all the time, 24/7. It can't be, you know, and that can only be filled with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I think if you see a physical manifestation of what does actual tawakkul looks like, look at a child on their parent. Even when they're about to play, they look around and they know their parent is there. They actually feel the safest when they know their parent is there with them, watching them, you know, supervising, and just actively there. They feel safe. And so how beautiful is it to know that we could use that as an example of how we should be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where we should be like trying to climb, just 100% rely on him, you know, and all those things, you know, subhanAllah. So anyways, these were my reflections I wanted to share with you guys. I hope this message finds you in the best of health and iman. Take loads of care. Stay blessed. Assalamu alaikum.